what the underlying issue is. But it started off, you know, with pot when I was probably 12. And then it moved on. I moved down to Florida and got into a car accident when I was about 21 and got hooked on the oxycodone, and I've been running ever since.
Okay, got it. So it started with marijuana, then you got hooked on oxycodone. So how did you go from marijuana to oxycodone?
Okay, well, it obviously wasn't just. What happened is when I was about 17 or 18, I started following the Grateful Dead. And so pot and LSD became a way of life. And then, like I said, I kind of cleaned my act up for a few years and moved down to Florida. And then that car accident happened, and I had never really even taken a pill off of the street. It was just strictly from the doctor at first, and then it just became a vicious habit. And then moved on to the heroin.
Oh, wow. So wow, that's horrible. So when did you get in? I can only see half your face, Mark. If maybe we can see your whole face, that'd be great. Wonderful. So, so you got in a car accident. When did you get in a car accident?
I would say it was about 20 years ago.
20 years ago. And then, so marijuana, then car accident. And what happened in the car accident? Did you,
the car accident, we were on 95 and we came up over a hill and traffic was stopped. And the kid behind us never even touched his brakes. He hit us doing 70. I ended up in intensive care for 12 days, internally bleeding. You know, my hemoglobin was off. I wasn't remaking blood. It was a nightmare.
Got it. So were you addicted to marijuana, you feel?
Yeah, you know, I've always been addicted to marijuana since I was 13.
Since you were 13, okay.
Now, like I said, once my habit progressed, marijuana just went on the side because there was no money for it.
Right.
Opiates took off.
Right. And then, and the way that you got the opiates was secondary to the prescriptions, right?
Yeah, that's how it started.
That's how it started. So what happened after that? What happened after that? So that now you're 17 years old and you're
yeah, I might be a little there, maybe about like in the 19, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I always tell the truth of my story. I started selling pot and got arrested with 20 pounds of pot in Massachusetts.
Okay.
So they gave me a deal. They gave me a deal to expedite me out of the state for 2 years, so I didn't serve jail time, and that's when I came to Florida.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. So you went down to Florida. You're still you're still addicted to opioids, but at least you're out of trouble and you're starting a new life.
Yeah, I'm just mildly addicted at the time. Like I'm not even taking close to what they're prescribing me, because I don't know if you know, but in Florida, I was getting 360 30s a month and 180 15s. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything about them really at the time. I remember the first time feeling sick. My mom's a nurse, and I said to my mom, Mom, what's going on? And she said, Mark, you're addicted to the pain pills.
Wow, that must have been gut-wrenching for Mom.
It still is.
Still is. Okay, fair enough. And
that's one of my big motivators.
Yeah. Then what happened after that?
Like I said, I was living down in Florida, and just slowly but surely, the addiction became to where I'd starting to take more and more and more. And then they had that real crackdown with the doctors down here. So it like almost became impossible to even get a third of my prescription. So I held on, and I knew I didn't want to be like that. So I went to the methadone clinic for about 4 years.
Okay.
And then I came off of the methadone clinic because I realized I was just a slave to that.
Okay.
And I went to Suboxone.
Right.
I did that for 4 years, and that was probably the best. How would I say? I controlled my addiction. Like there was no cheating. There was just, I woke up. I don't know how other people did it, but I only did a quarter of a strip every day. never did more. I never did it twice.
Okay.
And those were happy days. That was like when my first son was born, and I had structure. I was with my wife. Everything was still copacetic at that stage of the game.
Okay.
But then, like any other habit, the progression of it just became worse and worse until I had to, start dealing heroin to even support my habit.
Hmm. That must have been dangerous. Any stories from that?
Yeah, many run-ins with the cops, and
Hmm.
lived in homeless camps. I literally owned a painting company. I owned a restaurant at one point, and I went down to owning nothing, maybe a backpack.
Hmm.
But I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. Like I said, I don't have some traumatic story. I had a great childhood, but my biggest struggle today is trying to figure out why I obviously mask my emotions.
Right. So can you tell me, so we went marijuana at 12, we're at 17,
Yep.
started the opioids after the car accident, which is traumatic, internal bleeding.
Yep, 17.
And then you're at around 21, 22, 23, you're still addicted to
Yep.
opioids. And
Yep.
now, and then you got the heroin. What was the deciding factor that took you from the opioids, as far as the oxycodone, to the heroin?
Okay, well, like I said, I went to the methadone clinic, and I'm not talking bad about any program, but I went in with maybe a 3 to 4 blue a day habit and came out with a 10 to 15 blue a day habit, because I went way up on the methadone. I went to 200 milligrams a day. I didn't know any better, and I was an addict. So what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to try to get as much as I can.
Right. No, absolutely.
And then, like I said, I went to the Suboxone, and I stayed off of the heroin for 7 years. Then I picked it back up when I was 35.
Okay. And then you picked it back up when you're 35. Wow. So 7 years you were clean.
Yep. Well, Suboxone.
Well, yeah, but that's a controlled, that's a sort of prescription.
Yeah. In those 7 years, I think I cheated 3 times.
You cheated 3 times. Okay, fair enough. And now you're clean. Where are you now? In your addiction?
I'm at my uncle's house in Boston, and tomorrow will be 3 weeks.
3 weeks clean. That's a big deal. What was the biggest factor that brought you to that? Obviously, can you tell me about your daughters or your kids? You have one daughter.
Yeah.
I saw the picture.
Yeah, I have a 22-year-old daughter. She is a stepdaughter, but I've been there since she was 3 and raised her completely. She had a pretty decent structure. Like I said, there wasn't, for that 8 years, 9 years, I was really trying to control everything. And then I had a son, he's 13, and I can't lie, I'm ashamed of it, but he got put through the ringer. He saw the active life of active addiction. And then I have a 5-year-old, and luckily for the last 3 to 4 years, I've been in and out of the rooms of AA. I've been trying to fight this addiction. I've lived in sober living homes, so I've gotten a handle on it to what I believe, and then all of a sudden I'll go on a bender and I'm homeless again, panhandling for money.
Right.
It's just that vicious cycle.
There's that whole cycle. Okay, fair enough. So right now, job or no job that you have currently?
I am up here painting.
You're up here painting. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great job. And then you have 2 other children.
Yep, I have the 13-year-old and the 5-year-old, and obviously both of them are anxious to get me home. 5-year-old doesn't really know what's going on. The 13-year-old does.
Got it. Married, unmarried, have a significant other?
No, married. Was with, all 3 of my kids are from the same mom. Was with her for 15 years, and addiction ruined our relationship too.
Got it. So, but you're 3 weeks clean. Do they know? Does everybody know that you're 3 weeks?
Yes.
This is a celebration. They say 21 days.
Yes, especially
is a big landmark.
Especially, Yeah, especially because I went cold turkey. I didn't do it with any help of doctors, nurses. I literally flew up here on a Friday, used Friday morning to get on the plane, and then stayed in my uncle's bedroom for about 7 days sick.
Got it. Got it. And you sort of detoxed your way out of that.
Yes, I did. And I haven't used any mind-altering substances. I've been going to AA. Like I said, I've been trying to do this for a few years. I'm not new to the recovery programs.
Right, but it's not just one time, right? It just has to, it's just sort of, it builds up, builds up,
Yep.
builds up.
Yeah. Yeah, I seem to notice, like, obviously my whole friend group it was heroin addicts. And you notice when a heroin addict gets clean, it's not the first time or the second. They're usually in the teens on how many times they've gone to detox. It's very hard to kick.
Right, right. Well, it's such a big triumph for you. I'm so excited. So,
Yeah, me too.
How do you deal with the cravings? Do you feel cravings now?
Yes, I do. I take walks. I try to I'll work when I feel the cravings coming on. I'll just try to really sweat it out. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I still wake up in the morning like I need 10 minutes before anyone can even speak to me because I'm still my brain. My equilibrium's gone. My energy's gone. I'm just trying to fight through it, because my family's really like, this is it. You know what I mean? Jails, institutions, and deaths of how I've lived. So if I don't get it right this time, I'm going to lose a lot of my support.
Right. No, absolutely. And it's really key for you to get it right this time. That's the most important thing. But
for my kids.
You're already there. So
yeah. Yeah, I just spent 14 days in the hospital with MRSA. I got hepatitis, B and C. I have 2 teeth in my mouth. And I was like kind of like a preppy. Like I went to college. I had good grades. Like I said, I'm not the traumatic bad childhood. I mean, everything was good.
Right.
I just enjoyed getting high, and it just progressed me to heroin.
No, I got you. So, what do you like to paint? Are you do you just paint? You paint houses, but are you an artist, huh?
Yes, I do both. I'll do like designs on people's walls, but majority is house painting. Now, the only thing I can give my addiction for any type of claim is I never used the IV needle until I was 36.
Wonderful. And you're 41 now, right? So,
yes.
Got it. But you've accomplished a lot. You have 3 children. You still have your painting skill intact, and you conquered a disease for 21 days. It is incredibly difficult to conquer. You've done it. Well, you're there. You're there. If you just sustain what you're doing, the question is, what's your strategy to sustain?
Right now, people say one day at a time. That's truly where I'm at. I might not even quite be at a day. I might be at about a half a day.
Right.
So, like I told you, when I get the cravings, I go to a meeting, I go work. I can't, at this stage, I can't sit through the craving. If I do, I'm gonna use. When I get it, I have to replace it with something.
Absolutely. So what do you replace it with? A cigarette?
Yeah, I'll have cigarettes, mainly exercise, because as tired as I am, I know I have to try to, like I said, my dad is running our painting business in Florida. I have a business.
Right.
So I am going back to that. I just came up here just to try to clear my head for I'll probably stay here for 3 months.
Beautiful. Now, so you feel
I'm going to try to do 90.
So changing your environment really helped you.
This time, it's the first time I've ever done it. Every other time I'm a chronic relapser. I picked up a year chip, went out that night. I've picked up numerous 6-month chips. I mean, I'm good. I grasp it. I get it. It's just getting there for me.
Right.
Like I've been aware. I know I've done 90, 93 times. I've lived in sober living homes. I've lived in detoxes. Now rehab, for 4 years I've fought to get to a rehab, but because I have no insurance in Florida, it's impossible.
How much does it cost in rehab?
It's anywhere from $1,000 to $3,500 a week.
Got it. 1,000 to 3,500 a week for rehab.
Yeah, now I've done like 7 detoxes where you get 7 to 12 days. I've never left one. I've completed every treatment I've ever gone into.
And so how much do those cost?
They're free.
Those are free. The detoxes, the 12-day detoxes, those are free.
They're gonna bill me somewhere along the line, but you know, I'll work out a low income, you know, because I have been, other than just recently, I've been living in a homeless camp, unemployed.
So for our viewers, you know, this last 21 days, you know, hasn't been easy for you.
No.
You know, obviously you use exercise, which is a great way to deal with any sort of craving or anything like that. So what do? Do you go run? Do you swim?
I try to run, but I'm not going to lie, it's more like a power walk.
Well, that's fine.
Where I'm living, my uncle owns like 3 acres, and it's beautiful land. So I just take his dog and walk around the property. I listen to a lot of music. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. What I'm doing right now is unhealthy because I'm not really addressing. I'm just kind of on borrowed time, but it's the fact that I'm just putting some days behind me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just trying to wake up. Like one of my rules here, it was my own rule, but I'm very strict with myself, is my uncle and aunt leave for work at 6 in the morning. I have to be up with them every single day because I'm trying to do everything different than I used to do.
Right. Just change your environment, you change your mind, and you change your pattern by hanging out with people that can help elevate you, which is excellent.
Yes.
You've given us a lot of pointers. And number 1 is your exercise routine, which is awesome. Number 2 is you changed your association. And association is everything. You know, I know there's, you know, there's one person that told me, a very wise person told me once that, you know, there's 2 ways you can tell where a person is going in life. And number 1 is the last book that they read. And number 2 is the people they associate with. And so that's, you know, it's really important. So it seems like you've done that. So what's the last book that you've read that you picked up?
The last book I read was Cycle of the Werewolf by Stephen King.
Cycle of the Werewolf. Oh, wonderful. So awesome. So you're associated with Stephen King. Actually, that's pretty awesome. Actually, you know, it's interesting, you know, by reading and by doing that, that can also help your brain, stimulate your brain so that it gets you away from other things. So it's a really good thing to do.
I'm gonna tell you, in 3 weeks' time, the growth of the brain is unbelievable. Like I'm still nowhere near where I need to be, but certain things, like I'm like, oh, that's what, like things are figured out in my brain a lot easier.
You're turning back on again, huh?
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this is great. So 21 days, Mark. I really appreciate you taking the time. Number 1 is that you know, you took the time out so that you can help other people, which is just incredible. Number 2 is that you've done it for our KneeTie channel, which is awesome. So and the third thing is that you've given us some really good pointers on how to get through difficult time. I mean, obviously, you know, we want to follow you and you know, see how you're doing outside of this. You know, a few weeks later, maybe post something later, and then go from there. We're obviously. Number 2 is what I want to do is we again have to say that, okay, this is not a doctor-patient relationship, obviously, but you know, and we can share this on Facebook, YouTube. You're okay with all that. But one of the things is that especially to our viewers out there, we have a book, and one of my books is called Meditate or Die, KneeTie to Get High, and it's sort of what you talked about was really key, which was the ability to replace. And so if I can share with you some of my research, just in a few seconds, I can show you, you know, exactly what meditation does in the brain. And this is kind of cool because this is, you know, I did this research, and it may be something that's of interest to you. So what this is about is we studied you know, what is one of the replacements for addiction that's out there that we know about. And so what I started to do, let me see if I can share my screen.
Sure.
What we started to do is we started to really look at what is the effect of meditation on the brain.
Okay.
So what we did is here is we took a bunch of people and we studied their brains.
Okay.
Right here, after basically what this shows is that we studied their brains, and we did this through this way called MEG, which is just really, it's a lot of technical mumbo jumbo, but what happens is every time a nerve fires, it develops some sort of magnetic field, and this machine right here actually allows you to register what that wave is and that field is. And so what I did is, as I started to do, I knew this meditation from earlier on, and I wondered, why did it help me to even get off of cigarettes, and why does it help me feel good? And so we did this study, and so what it showed during me when I started is, if you can see all this blue area, this is how the brain lights up, and in a meditative state, it sort of just calms it down. You can see there's not as much blue between this picture and the last picture. And then we measured, waveforms at rest and waveform meditation. So right here is we took a comparison state of this and this. And so, what happened is from here, we did this rest and meditative state. We found that here's the resting state and here's the meditation state. And we found that it's more calm in the sort of frontal lobes, which is your executive decision-making area, than in meditation rather than rest. So then what we decided to do is we tried this out in 18 subjects, and in all 18 subjects we found a decrease in this frontal area, which is sort of your executive area. So they were all able to really decrease that. And the real key here is right here, where we found a difference in all 18 subjects, and where we were able to light up this thing called the nucleus accumbens, which is part of the reward pathway in the brain. So all of this means, so we took all this data and we said, okay, so this is objective data. What is the subjective data that we can use to find out, people who are doing these meditations and figuring out all this, what are they doing, and how well did we do? So we asked the question of anxiety, of happiness, and how much it helps you, to increase your happiness and all this. But then we asked about addictions, and we found that in heroin addiction and in smoking addiction, that it really helps. Like, for example, it helped close to 80% of people, 50 plus 30, around 25 people were really helped reducing their addiction to cigarettes by 80%.
That's not.
Yeah, and that's really helpful, right? And just by doing that, under the supervision. So you have to have a provider that you're doing with this, doing this meditation. You have to have a provider. You're doing your medications, but what are you doing to take the edge off? And this is that answer that or one answer that can help you. And so I'm trying to look about heroin, and we had a strong group as far as heroin is concerned. I think we had 11 out of 12 patients who we studied retrospectively had a great outcome, which was getting off of heroin completely. So
really good for them.
So just simply by doing the meditation and by learning these techniques. So I'm going to teach you one technique right now, if that's okay with you. And
I'm up to learn.
You like to exercise, so I want you to just say 3 words. Say go, run, go.
Go, run, go.
Go, run, go. Good. So it's KneeTie Go. So you can either use KneeTie, which is the name of the page, or Go, Run, Go, and it's KneeTie Go, Run, Go. But you can start off by just saying go, run, go, go, run, go, go, run, go, go, run, go. Especially you're using exercise to help with your cravings. This can seriously help us while you're exercising, or while you're out there with your dog walking around in your uncle's 3 acres. I want you to take a 3-acre walk, but say go, run, go, go, run, go, go, run, go, go, run, go with your dog, and just go around. You'll find that you may have the same response that other people have found with this just preliminary. If you want to add it, you can say KneeTie Go Run Go, KneeTie Go Run Go, KneeTie Go. And what it does is, all this does, there's 2 things. It's a double entendre. Go, run, go. In the U.S., go, run, go. You want to get up, go, run, and go. And you want to. Number 2 is that the sound vibration seems to have a response that's directly in the brain to actually relax the cortex. So these are the preliminary meditations. I'm gonna give you my course for free. and I'll send it to you for free, and then you can just start to use the course and see how that helps you. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, exercise is really my only outlet right now. That is what I'm replacing the dopamine in my brain with, because
Beautiful.
every other time I've detoxed, I've just sat around and done nothing and just pity me, poor me.
And that's not what you want to do. What you want to do is you want to break that pattern in your mind, and that once you break that pattern in your mind, that from the poor me, and believe me, everybody on earth goes through that, but there's some people that are just better at breaking the mind's pattern, whether it's the 1 2 3 4 5 go, or the go run go, whatever it is that you do, you got to break that and go. But what I do suggest is, while you're exercising, that go run go, while you're even smoking a cigarette, go run go, go run go, go run go.
Another thing I've been doing is I tried to quit the cigarettes. I realized I was a little bit overwhelmed.
Right.
So what I've done is I've played kind of a game. I only smoke when I have a craving.
Nice, nice.
And I've probably went from a pack and a half a day to 9 a day.
9 a day, beautiful. So you're down at 9 a day. So what I want you, if you can, is integrate that go run go and that KneeTie while you're smoking and while you're having that craving for those cigarettes. And then if you're only doing that 9 times per day, just really get into that KneeTie Go Run Go exercise and keep that meditation alive. Pretty soon you'll realize that the KneeTie Go Run Go process will go up and the others will go down.
Okay. I see what it's meant to do. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
I think every addict fights with anxiety. I mean, that's the #1 thing.
Oh yeah. Well, this really reduces anxiety. I mean, out of 185 people that were doing it, most of them, so 68, 22, it's around 70, 92, and 112. So about 112 of them had a greater than 60% benefit. With their anxiety. I find that this incredibly helps with anxiety, but there's a more powerful meditation in the course that you can do, and you can do it in about 20 minutes, and it will, for about a good 8 hours, it'll kill anxiety. And if you want, if you get to stage 3, there are some people who just did the stage 3 meditation for 1 day, and they eliminated their addiction, which is what I did. I just did it for 2 hours, and it eliminated my addiction for cigarettes instantly. Like, I stopped. I never did it again after that. But I sat down and I did it for 2 hours, which is the stage 3. If you want to do it for 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, it can cause an incredible amount of energy in your life. It just takes a little bit of time to learn. It took me 1 week to learn the actual meditation. And
Did you ever go back to the cigarettes?
Never again.
Good for you.
Never again. And so that was basically, I stopped and I never did it again. I just needed that one push of energy. And so what happens is that sometimes that material energy and that spirit inside of us are disconnected by all this junk. And what meditation does is it just removes that junk.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, anxiety to an addict is the worst thing. If you have too much time on your hands, I promise you will be relapsing. If you can't replace the drug with a new habit, you're in trouble.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. And this is one habit you want to. Meditation is a habit you want to have, because even anger can be an addiction. Even frustration can be an addiction. Even our emotions can be addiction. So it's key to increase our emotional quotients and to just really, really work on those. And I think that you hit on something so key. That feeling of anxiety drives that feeling of need for something to quell that anxiety. And if you can stop that anxiety and right at it in its tracks, and say, look, no, go run go, you can really, really do well. And the key is that anxiety stems from fear. And that fear stems from that lack of that connection. Once you clean that connection between you and your higher self, there is nothing that can stop you. And
which is I struggle with a little bit, the higher power. I mean, I have one. It's not God. It's maybe not your God, but it is actually my children.
Absolutely.
Because they are literally what keeps pulling me through. Like, my 13-year-old's kind of starting to take a bad road.
So
you know, and then the guilt of that, the guilt of that just eats me up. And any excuse you can give an addict to use, we're gonna, you know.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So I think, and the key here is what you do with the meditation is up to you. You just need the vibration. Once you're associated with the vibration and you feel that between you and whatever it is that your higher self is, that doesn't matter. But once you get that vibration, that will drive that relationship to make sure that you guide one of your children in the right way. So you try that go run go, and we can set up you can join our weekly meditation groups and just go from there. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Pleasure to meet you, Mark.
It was nice speaking to you. And now, is there any way I could see this interview, or where it would be?
Yeah. So we're gonna post it onto YouTube, and I'll send you the link. And then in addition to that, we're gonna post it onto Facebook on our KneeTie Facebook page. And
I have a ton of friends. And like I said, a good majority of them are either fighting with getting clean, are clean, or in the process.
Perfect.
It seems like recovery is the new. You know, we're 40. It's time. It's gonna, like I said, I have hepatitis C. I just was in the hospital with MRSA for 12 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you want to tell them about this, you want to join our online meditation groups, that's no problem at all.
Yeah, I will, and like I said, I will definitely spread your website to a lot of people. Because I got a lot of people that just can't quite figure it out, and sometimes just even talking about it will help these people tremendously.
Perfect. What I see in you as the most amazing thing, and I mean this very sincerely, is you're an unbelievably compassionate person. Not only you want to share your stories with other people, but you want to help me get my message to people, but you want to help them also go higher.
I don't want another 40-year-old to be afraid that they're going to lose their son to addiction.
Okay. God bless you. Take care.
Yeah. All right. And so you'll send me the link for YouTube?
Yep. We'll send you the link and we'll go from there.
All right. And stay in touch. You can talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Mark. Pleasure.
Update anytime you want. Like I said,
pleasure.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It could be the good, bad, the ugly. Who knows? I'm a realist. I'm a chronic relapser, so I'm just trying to get day to day.
Yeah, no, we'll go through some of these meditations. Hopefully they'll take the edge off. It's not it's not the cure all. It's not your doctor, but meditation can definitely take the edge off. And that's sometimes just that edge that pushes you over, and you just take the edge off and move back from that ledge, and you're fine.
All right. Well, it was nice speaking to you.
All right. Nice speaking to you. Take care. All right. Keep exercising.
Yeah. Let's get the word spread.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
All right, bud.
Take care.
Thank you.